Hey everybody, alright, so I'm finally back and we're going to do part 2 of Asymmetric Rhythmic Improvising. So there was this point in my playing where I started to realize that I'm never going to sound like Brad Meldo, I'm never going to sound like Keith Jarrett. I don't have that sort of melodic sense, that innate lyricism. I had to develop a different sort of vocab, and that's sort of what I'm diving into here. So if you already saw part 1 talks about how to play different cells for a matrix. There's this matrix, looks like this. What you do is you practice cell lengths of 3s, 4s, and 5s. And the next part of that is that part 1 also goes into how to accent independently between two hands. What we're starting to do is practice playing different rhythmic lengths while keeping track of time in our head. So that's part 1, make sure you go check that out. Now we're on to part 2. Rather than playing those orders of notes, because keep in mind, if we're playing an order of 5 notes, a cell of 5, we were playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then if you have two hands, you can combine that to make 4 different possibilities. Both up, both down, up and down, and down and up. So now we're going to start changing the orders of all those numbers. So what I have here on this sheet is all of the orders of 3 through 5. We don't include 2 because 2 only has 1, which is 1, 2, and 2, 1, right? So there's not much to practice there. So 3 through 5, we have all these orders. The top line, you'll see all the orders of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, and 3, 2, 1. Right, so C is going to be 1, D is 2, and E is 3, etc. through 5. Now if you go through the sheet, you'll see that we have at the top line orders of 3. We're going to skip that second line. The second line is essentially repeating one note. I just think it's a cool thing, so I wanted to add that to my vocabulary. And the next line is orders of 4. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 3. Now if you're looking at this orders of 4, this top line here is all the orders of 4 that start with 1. Now if you go down on this page, you will see all of the same orders. Really, it's the same mechanical feeling, the same muscle memory, but they're starting on a different pitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, or 2, 3, 4, 1, or 3, 4, 1, 2, or 4, 1, 2, 3. And so the idea of practicing the sheet is putting 1 against all of the rest. Now if you look at the second page, this is all the orders of 1 through 5. If you look at all of those bars on page 2, those are equivalent to all of the first row of the 4s. Does that make sense? All of the 5s are starting on 1. But then you would take those and multiply that times 5 because you have all of that starting on 2, all of that starting on 3. So now here's the really exciting part. If you practice every single cell against every other, we have this huge vocabulary. Basically, let me walk you through this. Let's do some math. All right, so let's do some math then. If there are 6 different orders of 3, 24 different orders of 4, 120 different orders of 5, we end up with 17,280 different combinations. And you double it because you can switch hands. I'm pretty sure I did that right. I'm not a mathematician. It doesn't matter. One is there's a lot, and you don't really need to worry about melodicism or having lyrical lines or anything like that. By the way, what we're listening to right now is a track from my band's upcoming album. My band is called Gestalt. The album is called Music by Gestalt. If you want to learn more about that, you can check it out, follow us, subscribe to our newsletter, there's the link, etc. The possibilities really start to open up, and we don't have to be intimidated by the fact that we're never going to sound like Keith Jarrett or Brad Meldo with their crazy melodic sense. Like, my melodic improvising is okay, but this is another option for improvisers. Oh, and subscribe to the channel because these videos I think are really cool. So let's talk about how to practice these. Pick one cell, practice that against all of these with a metronome. And you'll end up hearing the rhythmic cycles as far as them lining up and coming back together. So you're going to start to hear those as you practice the 5s against the 4s against the 3s, etc. So the first step to practicing these is just get all these different finger patterns in your hand. The second step, practice each of these against all of the rest. This will take a very long time. Again, there are 17,280 different combinations here. So just pick a few and practice them against the rest with your metronome. What you are doing is you are building an entirely different set of rhythmic vocabulary, and it's going to lend you to begin to improvise with 2 hands. And if you want this sheet, you can get it on our Patreon. You can send me an email. And I have a lot more information coming. There's a part 3 and maybe a part 4 as far as this asymmetric rhythmic improvising. We haven't even started talking about part 3, tertiary accents. So accenting a different cell length and the length of the number of pitches you have. So if you have a 5, what if you accent every 4th? If you have a 2, what if you're accenting every 3rd note? For most part, for my writing, by the way, I mostly use static harmony on these because I'm thinking numbers and patterns, right? I don't have time to think about the harmony just yet. But our new charts on our second album are a little bit more complex with the harmony, and so it does bring out a little bit more melodic variation because rather than sitting on the same 5 pitches, suddenly I'm changing those pitches slightly to the nearest notes of whatever chord or scale is next, right? Check it out and let me know how it goes for you. I'd love to hear back. All right.